Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm very happy to have you, and we can't wait to listen to your presentation. We'll do an introductions first. My name is Intisar Duram. I am a semi-retired engineering executive with a large engineering firm. And we will go to Adriana to introduce herself.
Hi, good morning, Adriana Gomez. I'm in real estate development, and I'm really interested in seeing your presentation.
Jeff?
You're on mute, Jeff.
There we go. Okay, I'm Jeff Shawcross. I had an over 30-year career in business communications and marketing. Owned my own agency for 4 years of that period. Have done many pitches of my own. So I'm really interested to listen to yours and really looking forward to it.
And I thank you, Jeff. What I'm going to do is just an overall ground rule before we get started. Just want to let you know that this is part of the competition. You're taking on a fictional business identity and assigning a fictional identity to us, the judges, as well. Please make sure everyone knows who you are and who they are before you begin. You will have 25 minutes to describe the legal, financial, and ethical dimensions of the problem and to recommend a solution that passes muster on all 3 fronts. During this time, you will be uninterrupted. When you're finished, we will be asking you questions. We will have a Q&A session about 10 to 15 minutes regarding the presentation while all of us are in our assumed character. After that, we would be very happy to give you some personal feedback on how the presentation went overall. So with that all said, if you could introduce yourself, and I'm going to be timing you 25 minutes. You have the floor.
Hi, guys. Let's start with the introduction. So my name is Nicolas Marquez. I am a consultant. I work in a Great Place to Work, Colombia. We are from Colombia. Around 20 years of experience in consultancy, plus sales, plus marketing, plus some other stuff that I have done. So I'm really glad to be with you and hope that everything ends up well.
Well, hi everyone. My name is Juan Bernardo Vallejo. Studying a magister in I'm studying a master in sustainability management, and I'm working in an oil and gas company. I'm already 5 years of experience, and I'm working on sustainable projects in the oil and gas industry. I'm really excited to be here.
My name is Angie. I'm environmental engineering. I am studying a master too, and I have worked with textile industries before, like 4 years. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I'm Sebastian. I'm from Colombia too. I'm studying a master degree in sustainability management, and I work for Juan Valdez, the Colombian coffee brand, in the sustainability area, working for coffee grower programs. Nice to meet you.
So, Juan, if you like, it's a start.
Okay. So, hello, everyone. We are Keep It Cycling Consultant, and we are pleased to have this space with you, the board of directors from SARA. We are amazed to share with you some ideas that we have, a real big strategy that we think that is going to change the business model that you have. And we hope really to work together with you to find new opportunities around the industry. So first of all, we're going to share with you some aspects that we have seen and we have investigated about the industry, and especially the Zara case. We know that you have more than 2,000 stores distributed in 52 countries around the world, and your impact has been very important. We love your brand, and of course, that's why we want to give you the opportunity to see other facts around sustainability that you have, and you're going to be the leaders around this conversation that the world needs to have right now. Also, we know that you are always launching different categories around new clothing designs that gives you the opportunity to connect with some consumers. And we know that, and it is important to understand the role that the consumers have on your industry. So we are going to take into account during this presentation that facts. And of course, we recognize the strategy that you have been doing and planning around the 0% climate emissions by 2040. It is important to acknowledge that you have been riding through a road regarding eliminating single-use plastics, using organic and recycled fabrics, and renewable energies around your operations. But we are sure that you have big opportunities if you start integrating much more concepts like circular economy or different sustainability aspects that are going to make your brand even more valuable in the market. So now we're going to start with understanding which are the most important elements around the fast fashion industry. So first of all, the production in large volumes is one of the most uh, most important topics regarding environmental impact for your industry. Also, it involves many actors, many stakeholders around your business. So they are really important regarding the strategy that we are going to show you in this presentation. The consumers as well and their culture around the consumption is clear regarding the repeated act of purchase, and we have to take into account that it's not just the purchase because of their 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 needs, but sometimes the marketing plays an important role in these dynamics that you have in the society. So we're going to talk about that and the global impact. We have to understand the different positions and sides of this opportunity, not just the industry that produce the garments and the clothes, but the industry that consumes these products that you produce. They all have one role and one responsibility and one opportunity to improve in sustainability terms. So what is fast fashion about? It's about purchasing different garments, different clothes regarding the seasons, the launches that you have on the industry. And who is involved in this? Your mother, your father, your family, the people that you are around, because every time you have a special celebration, you're thinking about giving something good, something special with a big quality. So Zara is one of the most important brands in this group of companies that are leading this industry. So as well, they have to, or you have to improve this conversation, not just inside of the company, but with the consumers. Then when and where it happens in many countries around the world, countries undeveloped countries that are the ones that produce these garments, these clothes, that makes able to share with the whole world your purpose value as a brand. And when it happens, every time you launch a new design, a new type of collection in your stores. So the important thing is to understand the role of each one of the actors that are involving around the business, and finally understand how and why the industry has to change in the way that they are watching the different dynamics in the society and in the environment too. So we have to understand this frenetic cycle of production and consumption not as a bad practice, but as an opportunity, as we said at the beginning. And we are going to start changing the traditional business model that probably has given many good inputs to your business core, but you are the ones that are called for watching new opportunities around sustainability. So that's what we're going to go to share with you on this presentation.
Well, thanks, Sebastian, for showing us all the problematic and all the opportunities that we have to share with Sarah. All the opportunities that we are going to share with you are three different solutions. These three different solutions are transversal, with each dimension that we're talking to: the economic, the legal, and the ethical one. The first solution that we are going to show you is the value chain. The value chain is also divided in three different aspects. The first one is the market tendencies. The market tendencies is how people choose or how they act in a buying habit. This is called an impulsive decision making and is associated with reminded choices, spontaneous planned choices, and fashion suggests choice alternative. In this last part, Sarah has a really great opportunity because Sarah can persuade the people how can they buy the things that they want to buy. In this case, the clothes. And Sarah must to switch to a more conscious type of consumption, and we're purposing the hedonic consumption that is described as a more arousing and less deliberate buying behavior. How can Sarah do that? Sarah can improve the design of the product, making it more durable, easier to repair, and functional. Maybe creating a consultancy service to help people or give tips to people of how can they continue wearing their clothes, and when they don't want to wear it, how can they use it in another way, maybe for their child, maybe for their pets, or for household. The second aspect is the incorporation of the corporate social responsibility. It is important to know that consumers are interested in buying products made by ethical and responsible business. And Sarah, being an international company, is in an international context. When Sarah is in an international context, you have to respect the human rights and create a dignified work in every bound of the value chain, including principally the suppliers and all the people that is working for us, maybe avoiding child labor and giving good conditions of work to the people in different countries and respecting labor laws. It is important to follow this formula that corporate social responsibility creates responsible productivity that makes quality products and create consumer trust that give us financial viability to keep giving an income and generating awareness in our customers. And the third part is the supply chain management supported with artificial intelligence. We have different stages in the apparel industry. The first one is the design, trying to create different products that requires less materials. The second one is the manufacturing, using all the materials that we have in an optimal way and taking advantage of every material that we have. And the third stage is the retailing, that is in the transport, optimizing the transportation and optimizing time, trying to reduce waste and emissions and making it more efficient work. Everything supported in artificial intelligence.
In relation with these value change strategies, that's what I was talking before, we propose you to work in a IBES logistic strategies that seeks to work with customers as a possible suppliers of fibers. Like we was talking about before, the customer, one of the most important agencies in this fast fashion model. So we propose to locate a clear return points in physical locations to transfer the transportation costs to the supplier instead of assuming it by the supplier. It will going to be to the customer and not for the supplier. How the way, by the way, it's going to help the customer because for each kilogram of clothes that they can return, they are going to win some points or shareable vouchers. What are that exchangeable vouchers for? They can use it in a complete line of products based on reduced fibers. So part of this proposal is to create a new complete line of products, and we can guarantee the sales by this strategy of exchangeable vouchers. We also propose to work in a strategic list like Acteco and Recover that will help you to the quality to guarantee the quality fibers and also the technology to transform that fibers. Also, this strategy are going to help you to reach new customers with already structured business sectors. And to the end, we propose to change all the current proposal of the nation that Sarah already had into a circular economy project that are going to raise the customer awareness. And in this line of products, the reduced fiber lines should be recognized by its exclusivity and durability that are going to allow Sarah to assign a representative cost in this line that are going to guarantee the sales that we were talking before. And it is going to help with the connection that the customers are going to have with the garments because they are going to be recognized by the quality and multi-use.
Thank you, Angie. And now what we are going to present here to you is a gathering of some of the ideas that my partners have presented to you, Juan and Angie, and some others. So this is something for you to put in consideration, just to put in consideration. We understand that this might be a long process, and we put some ideas on the table. So, what happened in 2015 in Paris? The world got together in order to change the understood way on how was perceived and how is done the development. And it made a call for nations, for leaders, and for business leaders to elevate their ambitions, to not just focus on profit and profit maximization only, but also to be mindful and conscious about their impact on society and on their environment. And as well, you that belong to a big industry with passion, you have an additional call, and is to redefine the relationship that you have with consumption. And you may ask the question, how we do it? So we want to introduce you to a concept that some of you might have seen or might have heard of, is the concept of sufficiency. And what is sufficiency? Sufficiency is the consumption reduction of goods and services. In other words, is living well with less. Before, sustainable consumption was on consumer hands only, and that was the perception. But this is not true anymore. Now you have two big responsibles for this consumption. One, of course, are the consumers, but the other one, for sure, are the companies. So it is time for respond this call that the world is having, that the world is asking, to redefine the consumption patterns by transforming your business model. And this transformation, we proposed as a new concept, which is business model for sufficiency. And it's to capture, what is it? It's to capture or is still capturing economical value in your products, in your processes and services, while delivering environmental and social benefits. So we want to put some ideas on your table for your consideration. Some you might have heard, and we have before with my partners, and some others in additional. This is to start building up what we call a business model for sufficiency. We do not pretend to prepare and to give you a business model here, but we want you to get or to have some ideas that you put together that might help you to build up a business model for sufficiency. So some ideas to start this journey, we have divided in three big sections. The first one is a technological approach, and it is considering four ideas. The first one, designing with a life cycle perspective. Be mindful what you are designing and what cycle the product has since the beginning, quality of the garments, quality of the raw materials, how is the process, the impact of the process in society and environment, and how is ending up the cycle of the product. Can this be returned? That will be the idea. The second one, efficient processes and products, is tied to the first one, and being mindful and conscious of the quality of your raw materials and the technology that you put on the process of production. The third one, designing for extended use. And this is something that was mentioned with Juan, in Juan and intervention, and in Angie's intervention. Designing the products for extended longevity, to be products that they are not here for a shorter period of time, but that create connection with the consumers. And the fourth and not least is services for extended use, and is related with offering to your consumers repair options, and even education in refurbish and repair options for your clothes. That's the first one. The second one, organizational approach, and have 4 points here, 4 ideas. Democratic governance, and this is something related to the decision making. How do you make your decision based on your values, based on honesty, based on core values that you have present and incorporated in your company? For sure that you already have done, or you are doing some of these ideas, but this for the sufficiency is very important also to consider suppliers' ideas, consumer ideas, employees' ideas, and all of them together focus on what is your superior purpose, the what for, why. This is very important. The second one, collaborative value creation. Invite your consumers to be part of this designing process of your garments. The third one, appropriate size and geographical scope. According to your purpose, according to this hopefully new process of a business model for sufficiency, you might need to change where do you want to be? In what geographical places would you like to be? And what will be your size? Maybe 1, 2, 3 countries. That is something that you will have to decide according to your decisions. And for sure, premium pricing, very important. You are changing processes, or you might be changing processes. You might be adjusting and increasing quality. So this might be, and you of course don't want that your employees get affected. This is something that you might have to consider to charge a premium pricing. And last but not least, social approach. Be conscious on the sales and marketing campaigns. What is the heart of this? It will be consumption, increasing consumption, or mindful consumption. So this might be the time where you might use this to educate your consumers to the sufficiency type of purchase and models. The second one, consumer education and sufficiency. Encourage consumers to reflect on consumption, provide tips on how to use your products, and even repair and care guides related to the technological approach. Conduct educational campaigns that provide information on the environmental consequences that are linked to consumers' consumption. During this journey that we are proposing to you, be mindful. Your genuine sufficiency implementation might bring some rebound effects, increasing consumption and sales, maybe. So it's important that you keep yourself centered on your purpose, on what got you there, and be mindful that your purpose, according to the call that you're receiving from the nations and from the ONU and from the world, is elevate your ambitions, not just on profit maximization, but on be mindful of your impacts in society and impacts on the environment. Sufficiency challenges your relationship with consumption. We clearly have show you what is this relationship with consumption today, but also the relationship with your economic growth. So you have to be conscious that you might have many options. One is to downsize and focus on taking care of your employees, your bills, and your costs, and start working on being successful downsizing yourself, sorry. And the other one is, okay, keep growing. And if you focus on growth, focus that you're going to be the best on what you do, and is spreading the word about sufficiency, spreading the word about a conscious purchase. This, if you are successful, the world, environment, and the consumers receive good impacts, and society as well. So for closing up, Angie is gonna show you how we relate everything to economic, ethical, and legal.
Thank you, Nicolas. In conclusion, we are proposing you a lot of strategies in a group that can be resuming economic, ethical, and legal component. In relation with economic, we are proposing you to work in a circular economy strategy and also the use of materials that Sebastian was talking before. This is going to help your brand to have a new market business, and also is going to help you to have a cost associated with durability, quality, and exclusivity of your mark that are going to improve you to create a new way to see Zara. In relation with the ethical component, we are proposing you the sufficiency model that Nicolas said before, and there's the corporate responsibility that are going to help you and us to increase the company reputation at the generation of value networks with the supply chain. And by the end, in the legal component, these strategies seek to ensure that Zara respect the human rights and reduce environmental impact, preventing possible lawsuits, and also opening to a business model with tax incentives. We know that these strategies of sufficiency and change of the fast model are ambitious and seek to generate change in the company business models. Then that's why you require a short, medium, and long-term plan that allows the company a real transformation through the prioritization of the quality and value of the garments over the quality over the quantity. And we can work to start this plan right now and reducing your impact and elevating your market. So if you're ready, we are ready too. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this presentation. And if I could start the Q&A by kind of for you to define better for me the sufficiency model and some of the ethical aspects to the sufficiency model that you are proposing.
Thank you, Entisar. What we're proposing as a sufficiency model, I might answer this question, guys, are a sort of ideas that will help to make the transition from a normal business model to a sufficiency business model. So you have three approaches: technological, organizational, and social approach. In the technological, focus on your processes, focus on your product, on how this help to have good quality products, but also be mindful of the impacts of those products and the production process on the environment. Plus, the other one is the organizational approach, making your organization more conscious about your interactions with employees, with suppliers, with consumers, even with consumers, clients, and with employees. So if you are working towards being a more conscious company, I'm not saying that you are not. I'm saying that it's a process of understanding what are your impacts, how you impact better. In the organizational approach, it will be another option. And the third one is the social approach. How is your interaction with your consumer directly? And you might be able to work on conscious conscious programs or conscious marketing campaigns, helping the consumer to understand sufficiency, how understand the value of a mindful consumption. So those are the three ideas that three approaches that might help you towards working in a business model for sufficiency.
Thank you. Jeff?
I do have a question. I'm very impressed with the range of elements that you've described in your presentation, and I think, as a Zara board member, I think there's a lot there to consider, because the company has declared their goals of reducing waste. So the company's already in line with a lot of what you are suggesting. But one area that I'd like, and I'm not being critical when I say it, I really just like to hear a little bit more about your team's approach to this, or philosophy, is, on one hand, the designing for the life cycle perspective, the reuse of the fibers, and encouraging the consumers to be on board and to participate. I think that's all sounds fantastic, and it ought to, I would think, in some ways lead to some savings in the production process, that type of thing. But on the second hand, kind of a flip side to that, in your organizational approach, you do call out specifically premium pricing. And I think Zara's brand, if I understand it, properly, is that they are known to be affordable. And while that affordability does tend to perhaps encourage waste, I'm wondering how do we approach this idea of possibly being more efficient in our production process and saving money and waste and things like that, but also your suggestion that premium pricing either might be the right approach or might be required. Can you tell us about that premium pricing?
We are proposing you a completely change of the model, but it's going to be in different points. So for start with this strategy, we are proposing you to start with a small line of reduced fibers that are going to have this price that we were talking about, where you can have a more expensive product, and the clients are going to use it they are going to have a different connection with that kind of clothes. But it's not all your brands that you need to change. We are going to start with a small line, but the point of this strategy is to change all the model. But like I was talking you, we need to start with a little pass, and we are ready to start with the short bars.
So this would be a targeted approach to a particular line.
Yes, to start, we are proposing to start with the line.
Okay, thank you.
And to complement some of the things that Dan said, it is important to understand the new opportunities that you have regarding circular economy for making new products and new business objectives. So it is important to take into account the premium price and all the materials that are used in this process, but there are a lot of opportunities and a lot of projects with other companies and even with other industries that are taken into account in the circular economy and sufficiency business model that we are sharing to you.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's important to add too that it is a long haul strategy. We have different stages like the long term, the mid term, and the short term. And we are talking about the different terms. It is important to know that are different strategies to implement in each of these. Maybe in the short term, we're talking about this starting with a line and also implementing the corporate social responsibility that SARA has, but it could be a little bit extends in all the countries that they are working. So this could be the short term, and in the mid and the long term, we're talking about implementing and giving the knowledge and the conscious to in the company and to our customers on how can we implement the sufficiency model.
If I can just ask a question, first of all, thank you for the presentation. As Jeff mentioned, Zara already does try to do some sustainability, and we're moving more towards that field. But on the social approach, how, as Jeff mentioned, premium pricing might be a problem, right? Simply because Zara is known to be a very low-cost brand that's a fashionable low-cost brand. As far as the social approach, if you can maybe expand a little on how you would approach it. Would you do influencers? Would you have a spokesperson about how great sustainable clothing is, and how doing a model perhaps where the premium pricing actually turns out to be less expensive because you're not recycling your clothes as much or having to buy. So is there an approach that you guys expect to take on the social side and on the marketing side to expand this concept?
Yeah, I think that is like part of a circular strategy, because when we are talking about this model of pricing, we are talking about too in the way that the people can at the first step can take their clothes that clothes that they already use and take it back to the stores and create some bonus that maybe influence them to have a little discount in this new line that we're having. This could be one of the solutions.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Actually, that answer brought up a question for me. I know that in some of our stores we are experimenting with resale, selling some of the products that come back that customers bring back. How is that? Have you looked into the possibility of having that initiative much more widespread? I think now it's being implemented in few stores in Europe. And how is that going to affect our bottom line at the end of the day?
I believe that this is one of the measures, but cannot be the only one. And this is something that adds up to the strategy and to the evolution to a business model for sufficiency. So definitely the reuse of the reuse and repurchase or resale of the materials of the garment definitely help. And it will be not the only one, but as the first one of many of the activities that you might have in a store or strategically speaking. Could you please repeat the second question, the complementary question, because I couldn't hear you well? You have
I was, yeah, my just the other question was a little bit more details. If you had looked into how that is affecting our bottom line, how is that affecting our economical health, the company's health?
Okay, good. Yes. Well, what we present here is a different change. No, sorry, a change in mind. So definitely it is gonna be if you like and if you decide an effect in the bottom line. But it's your decision. How do you want to proceed? If you want to gradually start and by lines and by brands gradually be changing your business model to sufficiency, that would be one possibility. The other possibility is for you to decide to reduce and completely change from the starting point the business model. In those type of decisions, in both, you will be having an effect in the bottom line, but you will have also a positive effect in social and in environment. So the point here is we're asking you for take a decision on how are going to be your impacts on economically speaking, but also on society and on the environment. We're not saying choose either one of them, choose all of them, but being mindful that this might be affecting the bottom line.
And in relation with the economic component, thank you. In relation with the economic component about the circular economy, you have to know that you can reduce the cost of raw materials using that reduced fibers. And we are also proposing to work with already companies like Acteco and other companies that are in Spain that already have the technology to transform that fibers. So you can guarantee that you don't have to buy new ways to do the clothes, but you can have a strategic lease and you are going to reduce your cost. But also you can present a new line of products that can be that can have elevated costs that are going to help you to guarantee all the sales and the economic component that you are talking about.
And one more thing is we have to keep in mind that we are working in two lines or in two ways. We are okay, Sarah, how to influence the people in the consumer in their consumption type, but also we have a new market because there are a lot of people that are asking for new type of clothes that be more environmental conscious and with standards of social responsibility. That is other thing that we have to keep in mind because the same market is the one that are asking Sarah of how they must work in a long term or in a mid term, at least.
Right. Any other questions from the judges for this formal Q&A?
No, not for me.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Adriana. We'd like to give you some feedback. You did really well on your presentation. So even though you're far away, we actually I think the technology worked really well.
Yes.
I like that you all presented, and your presentation and your segment came out very clear. I like the amount of research that you have done. I actually really appreciate that you stayed in character and you addressed us as such. One thing that it's, again, not a criticism, but as a board, usually they would want to see more details, information, kind of more concrete steps to take. So something like detailed, even if it is you take one garment, for example, from beginning to end, and see if there is going to be an additional cost or or a savings that's associated with it. Would have been very good, to illustrate some of the financial impact. But overall, you did great. It's been very nice meeting all of you.
Sorry. I agree with Intisar on, I think the concrete steps, I mean, any corporate group will welcome ideas, but their instinctive reaction will be to resist. That's just the way human beings are. And I think you do a great job of laying out possibilities. And I think a number of them, getting credit for the discount, or getting, I'm sorry, a discount for recycling your clothes, that type of thing. And I definitely think that the social aspect of the social approach is something that can be mined well, because I think, as the group has pointed out, there are consumers that want to be part of a brand that values these values. And you can make sufficiency fashionable as its own aspect of the closing. And I know that's a kind of a core concept that you have, but I think there's a lot to work from there. But I do think in an actual board presentation, there would be a kind of a resistance there where they would want to get more concrete. And it can be, on the one hand, can be useful to explain that all things are possible, but typically human beings get overwhelmed in a situation like that, and it might be better to target, as Intisar said, some more concrete steps and choose some of those suggestions to kind of, and you have some of those early in your presentation in particular, and perhaps really, stick to some of those more concrete steps. But there's a lot here that I think the board at Zara would want to consider, and could really run with. So you've got a lot of good material, and they certainly, sound like they would be receptive given the pronouncements that they've made about efficiency already. So I think there's a lot to work with here.
And I echo Jeff and Intisar's feedback as well. I don't know if it would have been appropriate, perhaps as a final, to say next steps and what we would go into, where some of those more concrete examples might have been useful. But I think overall, and also the presentation, I think the cohesiveness of your group, all being in different areas and using Zoom, I think that the presentation was great in that aspect as well, that all of you guys were able to give your piece and do it well. And so I think next steps, perhaps, and then also some concrete examples of, I personally know there's a group already called Take the Trash Bag Back, where you can, they'll send you a bag, you buy a bag for $20, you fill it with your clothing, and you send it back, and then you get credit on their website to purchase in the future. And you guys touched on that a little bit here, but perhaps just some more concrete examples, but I think you guys did an excellent job.
Thank you, Adriana.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you to everybody. Thank you for the team for a very good presentation and really getting to know you. Thank you to our judges, Jeff and Adriana. And this ends our presentation.